Imagine waking to the gentle glow of dawn, the sky just beginning to blush with possibility, and pausing before your feet touch the floor. In that quiet space between sleep and wakefulness, you breathe deeply and allow yourself to step into an imagined moment of love already realized. You picture yourself wrapped in the warmth of an embrace that feels familiar and true. You sense the softness of the other's presence, the steady rise and fall of their breath against your cheek. In your mind's eye, you hear a shared laugh, rich and spontaneous, echoing between you like music. You see the room bathed in gentle light, every corner touched by the glow of affection, and you feel within your chest a lightness as though your heart has been set free from years of waiting. This is not fantasy for its own sake, but a deliberate act of creation that primes your emotions to match the reality you intend to live. As you hold this scene, you notice that the texture of your imagined world is woven by your senses. The imagined scent of morning coffee fills the air, blending with the perfume of fresh flowers on the bedside table. You taste the sweetness of contentment as you sip your cup, every sip a testament to a love already present. You feel the softness of linen against your skin, the gentle press of fingertips on your arm, and the comforting weight of two bodies at rest. By engaging each of your senses, you give your subconscious a rich tapestry to work with. It no longer perceives the scene as distant or unattainable. Instead, it registers every detail as a living memory. Over time, these sensory-rich rehearsals become so familiar that your nervous system begins to treat them as real lessons, rewiring neural pathways to support the state of being in love. When you carry this practice into your waking routine, it transforms a simple mental exercise into a powerful habit. Before rising from bed, spend at least 3 full minutes inhabiting your chosen love scene. Close your eyes and move slowly through each sense. First, sight. Observe the gentle curve of a smile. Then, listen to the softness of a loving word uttered just for you. Next, touch. Feel the warmth of skin against skin. Scent. Inhale the aroma of belonging. Taste. Savor the joy of togetherness. By repeating this ritual daily, you train your emotional core to vibrate at the frequency of love. Your heart learns a new language, one that speaks of assurance rather than doubt, of presence rather than absence, and of fullness rather than yearning. As you carry the day forward, notice how this inner assumption subtly reshapes your outer experience. You might find yourself walking taller, your posture open and inviting. Strangers may offer a smile that lingers. Conversations deepen with unexpected warmth, and opportunities for genuine connection seem to present themselves with ease. These are not coincidences, but reflections of your internal state made manifest. When you consistently inhabit the feeling of love, you broadcast an energetic signature that draws like-minded experiences and people toward you. Your environment becomes a mirror, reflecting back your conviction that love is not somewhere out there. It is who you are and how you move through the world. It's natural for old doubts or memories of past disappointments to surface, especially when you first begin this practice. You might recall moments when you felt unseen or unloved, and those emotional echoes can momentarily dim the brightness of your imagined scene. When this happens, gently redirect your attention back to the rehearsal. Acknowledge the memory without judgment. Thank it for the lesson it offered, and then consciously reinsert the feeling of love fulfilled. Replay the scene, this time infusing it with compassion and understanding until the warmth of your assumed reality overrides any flickers of old pain. This process of revision carries profound healing power, as it demonstrates your ability to overwrite limiting beliefs with vibrant new truths. Over weeks of disciplined practice, you will discover that these morning rehearsals become second nature. The boundary between imagination and reality begins to blur, and the joy you feel in your mind's creation seeps into your everyday life. Tasks that once felt burdensome carry a newfound lightness when performed with the energy of love. Interactions with colleagues, friends, and family are threaded with a deeper sense of presence as you intuitively extend the love you've cultivated inwardly. Even routine moments, making breakfast, watering plants, or checking your messages, become opportunities to reaffirm your inner scene, keeping the flame of assumed love alive throughout the day. Each day's practice layers upon the last, building an unshakable foundation of belief in your heart. By stepping into that imagined morning scene over and over, you train your subconscious to recognize love as your default state. You move from seeking love as an external reward to embodying it as an internal reality, And when your inner world vibrates with the certainty of love, your outer world must respond in kind. Let this morning ritual be your compass, guiding you toward experiences and relationships that reflect the love you've already claimed. In time, you'll look back and realize that the greatest act of creation began the moment you chose to live as if you were already in love. Pay close attention to the constant chatter in your mind, those subtle whispers that tell you you're alone, you don't deserve affection, or love is always out of reach. These thoughts rise uninvited, like old recordings stuck on a loop, reinforcing patterns of loneliness and lack. Rather than fighting them head-on or berating yourself for having them, practice a gentle interception. Imagine that each thought is a passenger on a moving walkway. You simply step off and choose a different path. As soon as you notice, I need love, pause, take a slow, grounding breath and softly replace it with, I am deeply loved. Say it not as an empty mantra, but as a heartfelt statement. Feel the words reverberate through your chest and soften the walls around your heart. Begin by setting aside moments throughout your day, during a coffee break, waiting for an elevator, or walking between meetings, just to scan your mental landscape. When you discover a streak of doubt, acknowledge it without shame. Ah, there it is again. Then imagine that thought dissolving like mist in sunlight. In its place, speak your new assumption. I am deeply loved. Let the phrase float into your awareness several times, each repetition infusing it with warmth and sincerity. Feel the relief as your nervous system registers a shift. The tension in your shoulders releases, your face softens, and a gentle smile may even form as your body recognizes the possibility it had forgotten. To deepen this practice, anchor your new statement in a small, consistent ritual. Choose a symbolic object, a smooth stone, a favorite mug, or a small piece of jewelry, and every time you hold it, repeat your affirmation. Trace its contours with your fingertips as you say, I am deeply loved, and breathe out any lingering resistance. Over time, the object becomes imbued with your new feeling, serving as a tactile reminder that love resides within you. When you see or touch it later, you'll be transported back to that moment of quiet power, effortlessly intercepting any negative thought that dares to arise. As you make this your daily habit, observe how language shapes your inner reality. Notice the contrast between I need love, which keeps you in a state of yearning, versus I am deeply loved, which invites your heart to rest in a space of fullness. The first phrasing keeps love always ahead of you, a distant goal. The second places you at the center of love's experience, here and now. This shift in wording may seem subtle, but its impact echoes throughout your day. Your tone becomes more assured, your posture more open, and your interactions with others more authentic. When old emotions surface, perhaps triggered by a passing comment or an old photo, apply the same method of interception. A memory of past rejection might flicker, bringing a pang of discomfort. Instead of letting it spiral into self-judgment, recognize it as an echo from yesterday. Breathe in acceptance, breathe out judgment, and gently restate your assumption. I am deeply loved. Visualize the memory reframed with kindness. Imagine a compassionate listener standing behind you, offering reassurance. Feel the warmth of that compassion filling any cracks left by past pain. This process not only silences the old tape, but rewrites it, so your subconscious begins to catalog moments of love instead of cataloging moments of hurt. Throughout your workday or daily errands, practice speaking your new truth silently whenever you notice resistance. If a stressful email arrives, your heart rate spikes, or your mind slips into self-doubt, immediately intercept with I am deeply loved. Notice how this gentle redirection calms your nervous system and increases clarity. You'll find that challenges lose their grip, decisions come with more confidence, and creativity flows more freely. Love isn't merely a feeling reserved for romantic connection. It becomes a source of inner peace and resilience that animates every aspect of your life. You can also involve your senses to sharpen the effect. When you replace a negative thought, imagine the phrase, I am deeply loved, in bold, glowing letters in your mind's eye. Hear it spoken by a voice filled with warmth and conviction. Feel the gentle vibration of those words in your chest, as though a warm pulse of light radiates outward. The richer the sensory experience, the more thoroughly your subconscious mind will accept this new assumption as truth. As you continue, you may notice others responding differently to you. Colleagues may greet you with genuine warmth, friends may share more openly, and even passers-by might offer friendly smiles. These external shifts are reflections of your internal change. By intercepting lack and installing love in its place, You broadcast an energetic signature that resonates with loving experiences and people. You become a living demonstration of your own assumption. Stay patient and compassionate with yourself. Some days the old thoughts may be louder or more persistent, but each interception weakens their hold. Celebrate every moment you succeed in shifting your inner dialogue, no matter how small. Reward yourself with a mindful pause, a brief stretch, or a few more seconds holding your chosen talisman. Recognize that you are retraining your mind, and every gentle correction is a step toward permanent freedom from the scarcity mindset. Over weeks, this practice moves from conscious effort to effortless habit. Your mind begins to default to the assumption of love, greeting each moment with curiosity and openness instead of defensiveness. Challenges become invitations to reaffirm your truth, and life itself transforms into a classroom where the lesson is always, love is who you are. In this way, you shift from seeking love to embodying it, proving to yourself day by day that by intercepting need and declaring, I am deeply loved, you align with the very experience you deserve. Imagine stepping into the world each morning wearing an invisible cloak of affection, one woven not from fabric, but from the earnest conviction that love is already flowing through your veins. As you move through your day, walking down bustling streets, greeting colleagues in the office, or navigating crowded marketplaces, this cloak hums with quiet confidence. Its presence is subtle yet profound. It softens the tension in your shoulders, lifts the corners of your mouth, and aligns your posture so that your chest naturally opens. With each breath, you continue to breathe in the certainty of being loved and breathe out any residue of self-doubt. In this way, your very body becomes the messenger of your inner assumption, projecting an aura that invites warmth wherever you go. When you enter a room, sense the space responding to your arrival. Notice how people's eyes briefly flick toward you and how their expressions shift, even if only by a fraction, to reflect curiosity or ease. These micro moments are not coincidences, but indicators that your internal state is speaking through non-verbal cues. Your eye contact becomes more sincere, carrying with it the spark of genuine interest. Your voice, modulated by the belief you hold, gains a softer timbre, touched by warmth that invites openness. Even small gestures, a gentle nod, a relaxed hand movement, become vessels of connection, fostering an atmosphere in which others feel both seen and welcomed. In conversation, you harness the power of assumption by listening as if you already share a bond of affection. Each word you speak is chosen from a place of kindness and curiosity rather than from a need to impress or defend. When someone tells you about their day, lean in as though your heart is eager to receive their story. Allow pauses to linger comfortably, knowing that silence can be the canvas upon which empathy paints its most vivid strokes. Offer your responses softly but confidently, infusing them with the belief that every human exchange is a reflection of the love you carry within. As you do this, observe how dialogues deepen. Acquaintances become friends, fleeting exchanges become memorable encounters, and moments that might otherwise pass unnoticed become opportunities for genuine connection. There will be times when the bustle of tasks or the weight of to-do lists tempts you to slip from this silent assumption. Perhaps an unexpected deadline causes your brow to furrow, or a challenging project sends your mind racing. In such moments, pause and take a deliberate breath, allowing your focus to return to the glowing center of assumed love within your chest. Remind yourself that your effectiveness does not stem from frantic energy, but from the calm assurance that love brings. By returning your attention to that warm inner glow, you recalibrate your nervous system. Stress dissipates, replaced by a soothing sense of competence grounded in care. This reprioritization teaches your mind that love and productivity are not at odds. They are companions on the journey of achievement. As the day unfolds, extend this gentle assumption into every encounter, even the briefest. When a barista hands you your morning coffee, let your smile be an unspoken thank you, infused with appreciation. When a passerby holds the door open, offer a nod of recognition that conveys both gratitude and kinship. Even in online interactions, sending a quick email or posting a comment, imagine each written word enlivened by your assumption of love. See your sentences as threads of connection woven into the fabric of another person's day. In so doing, you transform every exchange, no matter how small, into a moment of mutual uplift. You may notice that difficult personalities or tense situations begin to feel less intimidating. When a coworker arrives in a rush of frustration or a customer approaches with a complaint, your response remains anchored in the quiet assumption of love. Instead of reacting defensively, you respond with patience and attentiveness, guided by the belief that beneath the surface of every challenging behavior lies a desire to be heard and respected. Your ability to hold space without judgment creates ripples of calm. Tensions ease, misunderstandings give way to clarity, and respect grows in the fertile ground of empathy. Through this practice, you become a living lesson in how love can diffuse conflict and invite collaboration. Throughout the afternoon lull or the midday fatigue that so often creeps in, invite your silent cloak of affection to revitalize you. Take a moment to close your eyes, place a hand over your heart, and affirm, without speaking aloud, I am love. Feel the echo of those words resonate like a gentle wave across your entire being. This internal affirmation need not interrupt your workflow. It can be a brief pause between tasks, a discreet centering ritual that restores focus and lifts your energy. By treating these pauses as sacred interludes, you reinforce the lesson that love is not a reward reserved for the outcomes you chase, but the underlying state that animates all your actions. As daylight softens into evening and your day draws to a close, reflect on the transformations that have taken place. Perhaps you notice new smiles in familiar faces or unexpected kindnesses from strangers. Perhaps collaborations that once felt strained flowed more smoothly, or routine interactions took on a warmer hue. These experiences are tangible testimonials to the magnetic power of your assumed state. They confirm that living as if love is already your constant companion reshapes your world in subtle yet unmistakable ways. Carry this practice forward into tomorrow by reaffirming your commitment each morning to wear that invisible cloak of affection. Notice how with every passing day, the line between assumption and reality grows thinner. Love ceases to be an abstract goal and becomes the very medium through which you engage with life. In this ongoing process, you discover that the most profound shifts do not always require grand gestures. How often they arise from the simple, persistent dedication to carrying an inner conviction, an assumption of love that silently and irrevocably transforms every moment you live. When memories of past heartache drift into your awareness, observe them without judgment, as if you are watching clouds pass across a clear sky. You might notice the familiar ache in your chest, the sting of words once spoken, or the weight of disappointment settling on your shoulders. In those moments, pause and breathe deeply, allowing yourself to become both the witness and the creator of your inner world. Imagine that each memory is like a scene on a stage, ready to be re-scripted. Close your eyes and summon the original moment, not to relieve its pain, but to meet it with compassion and the authority of your present power. See the faces involved, hear the voices, feel the transient emotions. Then, gently but deliberately, begin to rewrite the script. Introduce kindness where there was harshness, understanding where there was confusion, and the warmth of unconditional love where there was rejection. As you reimagine the scene, focus on the smallest details that can transform its emotional tone, the expression in your eyes as you respond with self-respect, the calming cadence of a voice that offers forgiveness, even the softness of a gesture that conveys understanding. Let the air in that recreated moment be suffused with acceptance, as though you are wrapping everyone involved in a comforting embrace. Feel the tension in your body loosen. Notice how your heart chamber expands to accommodate this new feeling. Each time you replay the memory with these changes, your subconscious stores not the old wound, but the revised version, filled with compassion and self-honor. It's natural for fragments of the original hurt to surface during this process. Perhaps a flash of anger, a pang of sorrow, or a flicker of shame threatens to pull you back into the old narrative. When that happens, acknowledge the residue without shame. Whisper to yourself, I see you, and I release you. And return your focus to the recreation. Anchor this act of revision with a simple sensory cue, a soft touch to your heart, a grounding press of your feet into the floor, or a whispered affirmation such as, I am worthy of love and understanding. These anchors remind your nervous system that the new memory, not the old one, is the reality you choose to inhabit. Over time, this gentle yet persistent practice rewires the pathways in your mind, The subconscious, which once held tightly to old beliefs of unworthiness or rejection, begins to catalog moments of healing and acceptance instead. You will find that the emotional charge of past events diminishes, the sting of old wounds softens into mere echoes, and the compassion you project in your rewrites becomes the default lens through which you now view both yourself and others. In daily life, relationships once tinged with anxiety or guardedness flow with greater ease. You respond to challenging interactions from a place of centered calm, knowing that your inner narrative has been transformed. This creative revision need not be confined to evening reflections or formal meditations. Whenever a triggering thought arises, perhaps at your desk, in a conversation, or while walking to the store, take a moment to close your eyes for a breath or two and replay the imprinted scene in its new form. Each mini session reinforces the revised memory, strengthening the neural imprint of kindness over judgment, of love over fear. You might even find yourself smiling unexpectedly as you remember the rewritten scene, a testament to the quiet joy that comes from taking ownership of your own story. In the midst of this inner work, practice gratitude for the lessons contained in the original memories. Acknowledge how those experiences once shaped you, how they built your resilience, and how they now serve as the raw material for your creative transformation. By expressing thanks, whether silently in your heart or softly aloud, you honor the past without being bound by it. This gratitude acts as a bridge between what was and what is possible, inviting your future to be shaped by empowerment rather than by regret. As the process unfolds over days and weeks, you may notice a subtle shift in the world around you. Encounters that once felt tense now carry an undercurrent of warmth. People you once kept at arm's length may draw closer, sensing the newfound openness in your presence. Opportunities that seemed out of reach begin to appear, as though the universe itself responds to the generosity you've extended to your own path. In this way, revising your inner scenes becomes a dynamic partnership between your imagination and reality. You offer the blueprint of love and compassion, and life aligns to reflect it back to you. Remember that this practice is not about erasing history or pretending pain never occurred. It is about reclaiming your creative power to transform those experiences into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Each revised scene plants seeds of self-trust and emotional freedom, nourishing a garden in which the flowers of love and belonging bloom more readily. When old memories surface later, they will arrive as neutral witnesses, stories you can acknowledge without being ensnared by their emotional charge. By consistently engaging in this imaginative revision, you cultivate an inner sanctuary where self-love reigns unchallenged. You learn that the pen always rests in your hand. You are both author and editor of the narrative that shapes your emotions and beliefs. As this newfound mastery becomes second nature, the concept of being stuck in past heartache loses its power. You walk forward with your heart unburdened, confident that any shadow cast by yesterday can be transformed by the creative light you carry within. Imagine a conversation unfolding before you like a dance, refined by the gentle assumption of love's presence. As you prepare to speak, allow your heart to lead the way. Feel the warmth pulling in your chest and let that sensation color your words. Notice how your tone naturally softens, carrying an undercurrent of kindness that invites others to open their own hearts. When you greet someone, imagine each syllable warmed by the glow of affection, as if the words themselves are tiny messengers whispering, "You are seen, you are valued." This simple shift in intention transforms even the most mundane exchanges, ordered a cafe, a quick chat in the hallway, into moments charged with connection. In these moments, your eyes become bridges between souls. Before speaking, make a conscious choice to look into the other person's eyes, not as points of judgment or evaluation, but as windows to their humanity. See the flicker of their expression, the quiver of excitement, the soft draw of vulnerability, and respond with a gaze that celebrates their presence. When your eyes meet theirs, imagine sharing a silent message. I acknowledge you. I honor the spirit within you. In doing so, you reinforce your inner assumption of love and extend it outward, inviting the other person to mirror that warmth back to you. Listening becomes an art form when you assume love is already your companion. Rather than planning your next sentence while the other speaks, lean into the moment with full attention. Let your mind rest gently on their words, as though each one carries a precious gift waiting to be unwrapped. Feel the subtle rise and fall of their voice, the rhythm of emotion behind each phrase. When you allow yourself to listen without agenda, you create a space in which authentic understanding can flourish, where the other person senses your genuine care and responds with a deeper level of trust. At times, the urge to interject, to correct, or to leap in with your own story can be strong, especially if you sense disagreement or tension. When that impulse arises, pause and breathe. Remind yourself silently, this moment is about giving love its voice. Offer a nod or a brief affirmative sound to signal that you're fully present. If you feel the need to respond, do so from the foundation of assuming love, a response that seeks to bridge rather than divide. You might say, I hear you, or thank you for sharing that with me. These simple acknowledgments let the other person know they matter, strengthening the bond between you. Infuse your spoken words with clarity and warmth by choosing language that uplifts. Replace critical or harsh phrases with gentle, constructive alternatives. For instance, swap "you're wrong" with "I see it differently and here's why." Or "that doesn't make sense" with "help me understand your perspective." By speaking from a place of assumed love, you foster an environment in which dialogue becomes a collaborative exploration rather than a battleground. Over time, your conversational style shifts from reactive to creative, paving the way for solutions and understanding instead of conflict. When you find yourself in difficult conversations, perhaps a disagreement with a loved one or a heated discussion at work, anchor yourself in your inner assumption of love. Before speaking, place a hand over your heart and silently affirm, I speak from love. Feel that affirmation expand through your throat and settle on your tongue. Allow it to temper any harsh words before they escape. In this way, you model for others how to express disagreement without diminishing dignity. You may be surprised to discover that conflicts resolved in this spirit often lead to deeper respect and more enduring resolutions. Non-verbal cues also become essential instruments in this practice. Notice the alignment of your body as you speak and listen. Keep your shoulders relaxed and your posture open, as if you're physically inviting trust. Allow your hands to move with openness rather than clenched defensiveness. A soft smile can work wonders. Let its warmth radiate through your entire face, lighting up your eyes. When your outer form reflects the inner reality of assumed love, every gesture becomes an affirmation of your belief in the goodness of connection. To strengthen this habit, integrate brief reflection moments throughout your day. After an important conversation, pause and mentally replay the interaction. Observe where your words and tone align with your heart's assumption of love and where old habits of defensiveness may have crept in. Celebrate even small successes, a time you greeted someone with genuine warmth, or a moment you held back a critical remark. For areas of improvement, imagine how you would infuse love into that slip. Replay the moment in your mind with loving intention until it feels as natural as breathing. As you continue to practice speaking and listening from this inner place of love, you'll notice the world around you echoing your assumption. Conversations that once felt stressful become opportunities for connection. People respond with greater honesty and openness, and doors you didn't even know existed begin to open. Your daily interactions become a tapestry woven from threads of compassion, understanding, and genuine care. In the end, you'll find that this approach transcends mere communication technique. It becomes a way of life, one in which every exchange is an act of love made visible. Through this journey, remember that perfection is not the goal, growth is. There will be days when old patterns surface, when impatience creeps in, or when fear prompts you to retreat. In those moments, return kindly to your practice. Take a breath, place your hand over your heart, and recommit to the assumption of love. Each time you do, you strengthen the neural pathways of connection and compassion, making your inner assumption ever more the guiding force of your speech and listening. And with each conversation lived from this foundation, you transform not only your relationships, but the very essence of how you move through the world. In the river of life, there are moments when the current seems swift and unrelenting, the trek to your workplace, the brief pause between meetings, the flicker of a red traffic light. In these pockets of nothingness, you possess a hidden key to reignite your inner flame of love. Picture yourself seated on a train or waiting at a signal. Your eyes are open, the world moves around you, but within you hold a secret garden. Inhale deeply, closing your eyes just enough to dim external distractions, and summon the living scene of love you rehearsed at dawn. Feel the echo of laughter, the brush of a hand, the warmth of shared gaze. Even if only for a few heartbeats, you step into that garden. letting its fragrance envelop your senses before opening your eyes to the outer world once more. This practice transforms mundane pauses into portals of renewal. When you first try it, you might worry that closing your eyes, even briefly, will cause you to miss something important. Yet you discover that by dipping into your inner scene, you return with heightened presence rather than distraction. The world you re-enter feels sharper, more vibrant, because your emotional baseline has shifted. You're no longer navigating life from a place of wishful thinking or longing. You're moving forward from a place of embodied love. Your breath steadies, tension slips away, and your posture relaxes. This small recalibration of energy ripples outward, infusing every subsequent step with ease and grace. The beauty of this method lies in its seamless integration into your daily rhythm. You don't need a quiet room or a special cushion, only the willingness to recognize the gaps in your day where mindless waiting often prevails. As you become attuned to these moments, you start to notice them everywhere. The seconds after hanging up a phone call, the pause while the kettle boils, the brief walk from your car to the office door, each becomes an invitation to press pause on external demands and press play on your felt sense of love. Over time, your mind begins to anticipate these opportunities and cues. You make two options of yourself. Become a member, your reminder to return home to your heart. In these micro sessions of inner retreat, consistency is more potent than duration. Even 10 seconds of wholehearted rehearsal can have a compounding effect when practiced repeatedly. Think of it as watering the same spot in your mind's garden each day. The roots of your assumed love grow deeper and stronger with every drop. You might start by setting an intention. When I see a red light, I'll close my eyes for 3 breaths and revisit my love scene. As you follow through, you empirically discover how these quick returns sustain your emotional reservoir throughout hectic days. No matter how many external challenges emerge, you carry within you an oasis of calm assurance. To enhance this practice, anchor it to a simple sensory cue in your environment. Perhaps it's the hum of the air conditioner, the click of an elevator button, or the subtle vibration of your phone's notification. When that cue occurs, let it trigger your mini rehearsal. Feel the soft exhale as your shoulders drop, the warming pulse behind your sternum, and the expansion of your chest as you breathe in the assumed reality of love fulfilled. The more you weave this cue and response pattern into your routine, the more automatic your inner retreat becomes, until it requires no conscious effort at all. Another way to deepen the technique is by layering a short affirmation beneath the visualized scene. As you inhale, mentally speak the words, "I live in love," aligning their cadence with your breath. As you exhale, sense any remaining tension dissolving into air. By coupling visualization with a breath-synced affirmation, you engage both the imaginative and verbal centers of your mind, creating a richer neural imprint. This dual activation helps anchor your inner state more firmly, so that even during moments when you cannot close your eyes, you can still repeat the affirmation silently, maintaining the vibration of love in your physiology. Over days and weeks, you begin to notice a profound shift in how you relate to time itself. Instead of perceiving pauses as empty or inconvenient, you view them as precious junctures for recalibration. Your experience of waiting evolves from frustration to anticipation, because each wait holds the promise of reconnecting with your inner world. This change in perception is the microcosm of the larger transformation you're orchestrating, learning to see life's tempo not as an obstacle to your peace, but as a symphony of opportunities to reinforce your assumed state. Perhaps most surprisingly, these brief inner returns start to color your dreams. Night after night, your sleep absorbs the warmth you cultivate during waking micro-sessions, and you wake with a residue of affection lingering in your senses. The boundary between day and night blurs as your subconscious treats the rehearsed scenes as genuine memories. Dreams become more vivid, often featuring elements of your love scene woven into unexpected narratives. You realize that the practice has permeated every layer of your being, from the moments you consciously devote to it, to the hidden recesses where your subconscious continues the work while you rest. In this way, the simple act of closing your eyes for a breath or two becomes a powerful tool for emotional sovereignty. You learn that you need not wait for hours of formal meditation to reshape your experience. Instead, by capitalizing on the micro moments that fill your day, you continuously refresh your inner world with the energy of love. And as that energy flows through you, Everything you touch and everyone you meet becomes an extension of the harmonious reality you have chosen. Your life, once segmented by the demands of time, now unfolds as a continuous field of love, in which every pause enriches your sense of belonging and amplifies the evidence that you are indeed already in love. As you settle into bed and the world outside grows hushed, allow your body to melt into the mattress as though you're being cradled by a loving embrace. Close your eyes and turn your attention inward, noticing the soft rhythm of your breath as it slows and deepens. In this threshold between wakefulness and sleep, where thoughts drift like wisps of cloud, you hold a precious window of creative power. Without forcing or striving, simply rest your awareness on the gentle space behind your closed eyelids and invite a quiet scene of love to unfold. Imagine a moment at twilight. Perhaps you and your beloved share a private smile as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of rose and gold. Picture the soft curve of that smile, the way your hearts recognize each other in a single glance. Feel the warmth of that connection spreading from your chest outward, like ripples on a still pond. Let every detail settle into your senses. The faint rustle of evening breeze, the distant hum of life winding down, even the weight of eyelashes as they lower in contentment. This is not an intellectual exercise, but a felt experience. You are reliving a memory that has yet to appear in your outer world, and you allow it to settle deep into your being. As you linger in this reverie, notice how your eyelids grow heavy and your mind's chatter softens. The real world's concerns fade into the background, leaving only the resonant vibration of love's presence. If stray thoughts intrude, tomorrow's tasks, yesterday's worries, simply observe them without judgment and let them drift away like leaves on a stream. Return your focus gently to the shared smile at twilight, allowing that sensation of love to expand with each inhalation. You are planting seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious, where they will germinate and grow while you rest. Invite gratitude into this moment. Silently offer thanks for the love you are creating, for the sense of belonging that warms your heart, and for the subtle magic of the twilight scene you've chosen. Gratitude acts as a nourishing rain, ensuring that the seeds you've sown find fertile ground. Feel appreciation flow through every cell of your body, from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head. This ripple of thankfulness amplifies the emotional charge of your imagined moment, sealing it in your subconscious as a life-giving truth. There is no need to rehearse an elaborate narrative. Simplicity often yields the most powerful results. A single vivid moment is enough. Two souls recognizing each other, a shared glance laden with knowing, a breath of tenderness exchanged in silence. By keeping the scene concise, you prevent the mind from wandering into confusion or skepticism. You watch, you feel, you rest. The scene becomes a beacon, guiding your subconscious toward the reality you've chosen. As your breathing grows softer, perhaps a slow sigh signaling the body's transition into deeper rest, allow the imagined moment to dissolve gently into the background of your awareness. Trust that the sensation you cultivated will remain planted in the subconscious, even as your conscious mind drifts away. You do not need to keep replaying the scene. Your inner work is done. Now simply drift into sleep, carrying the warmth of that shared smile into the realm of dreams. Throughout the night, your subconscious mind records and integrates this vibrational blueprint. While you sleep, those seeds of love take root, influencing the patterns of thought and emotion that guide your waking moments. You may wake with a lingering sense of contentment, an uplifted heart, or an unexpected smile greeting the dawn. These subtle shifts are the first sprouts of your intention growing into lived experience. With each night's practice, this ritual deepens. The edge of sleep becomes a sacred space where you and the universe meet in perfect alignment. Over time, you'll find that the scenes you plant at twilight flow seamlessly into your waking reality. Small gestures of affection, serendipitous encounters, and a pervasive sense of being cherished. And as you continue to honor this nightly communion with your inner world, you reinforce the fundamental truth that love is not something to be chased, but something to be assumed, felt, and allowed to blossom from within. Feel into the quiet confidence that the love you've cultivated within is already at work, weaving itself into the fabric of your life in subtle and surprising ways. As you move through your days with the inner conviction that love is your constant companion, begin to notice the gentlest ripples of its outward expression. Perhaps a neighbor you barely know offers you an unexpected greeting as you check your mail, or a colleague pauses in their hurried rush to ask how your morning has been. These small gestures may seem ordinary at first glance, but when you view them through the lens of your assumed state, they become meaningful signposts, affirming that your inner life of love is blossoming into lived experience. Observe how doors that once felt firmly closed now seem to open with ease. Maybe you find yourself invited to gatherings where laughter flows freely, or you receive messages from old friends rekindling connections you thought had faded. Each of these moments carries the fingerprint of your inner assumption. They are reflections in the outer world of the love you hold inside. Rather than brushing them aside as coincidence, pause and feel a sense of gratitude swell in your chest. Let that gratitude be your compass, directing your attention toward the reality you've chosen. As you practice this awareness, you become adept at recognizing serendipity in everyday life. You might glimpse a heart-shaped leaf on the sidewalk or stumble upon a song whose lyrics speak directly to your heart's longing. Perhaps a chance encounter on public transit blossoms into a conversation that warms your spirit, or you receive an unexpected compliment that brightens your afternoon. When such moments arise, take a quiet moment to honor them. Smile knowingly, whisper a silent thank you, or jot a brief note in your journal. By celebrating these signs, you reinforce the belief that love is not a distant dream, but a living, breathing presence in your world. It's important to remember that proof often arrives in gentle whispers, rather than thunderous proclamations. You may not suddenly find your life transformed overnight, but rather witness a gradual unfolding, a series of small kindlings that cumulatively ignite a deeper sense of fulfillment. Keep a soft, attentive mind ready to catch these tender sparks. Over weeks and months, you'll look back and see a tapestry woven from these moments. A spontaneous hug from a friend, a new opportunity that aligns with your passions, or a morning greeting from a passerby that fills you with warmth. These threads, taken together, reveal the unmistakable pattern of your inner assumption manifesting itself. To deepen this practice, cultivate a simple ritual of reflection each evening. Before you drift off to sleep, recall 3 signs of love that surfaced in your day, no matter how small, and hold each one as a precious token of evidence. You might remember how a stranger's eyes lit up as you offered a genuine smile, or how a family member reached out to share a moment of closeness. Feel into the sensations those memories evoke, the glow of surprise, the flutter of delight, the comforting pulse of connection. As you revisit these moments, let a wave of appreciation wash over you, anchoring your belief in the reality of love's unfolding. This reflective ritual trains your subconscious to seek out and magnify evidence, reinforcing the bridge between your inner state and outer experience. At times, you may encounter skepticism, either from yourself or from others, when the signs you perceive seem too subtle or infrequent. In such moments, gently remind yourself that love's manifestations are not bound to dramatic fanfare. Just as a seed pushes through the soil in quiet determination before bursting into bloom, your inner assumption grows in obscurity before revealing itself in visible forms. If doubts arise, return to your morning and evening practices, inhabit your chosen love scene with fresh feeling, and revisit your journals of small proofs. Each time you recommit to the process, you nourish the roots of your assumption, ensuring that love's flowering continues. As you become more attuned to these gentle confirmations, you'll notice how your own responses amplify the signs. When you meet kindness with gratitude, you open a channel for more kindness to flow. When you celebrate serendipity, you signal to your subconscious that you value these moments and invite more of them. This reciprocal exchange creates an upward spiral. The more you acknowledge love's presence, the more you embody it, and the more your environment mirrors that embodiment back to you. True mastery of this practice lies in balancing awareness with ease. You don't need to scrutinize every interaction or force your mind into hypervigilance. Instead, cultivate a relaxed curiosity, a playful willingness to spot love's footprints wherever they appear. Allow yourself to wander through the day lightly, eyes open to magic in the ordinary, heart attuned to the quiet symphony playing beneath surface events. In this state, life itself becomes a living demonstration of your inner reality. In moments when external circumstances feel challenging, perhaps plans fall through, traffic stalls, test your patience, or a conversation veers into tension, recall the evidence you've gathered. Remember the neighbor's greeting, the unexpected compliment, the serendipitous encounter on the train. Let these memories act as anchors, reminding you that love's presence is not contingent on favorable conditions. It remains available to you in every context, ready to reveal itself through the smallest acts of grace. Over time, you will find that your faith in love's unfolding becomes unshakable. You'll become less reliant on external proof and more anchored in the knowing that the inner seeds you've planted ricochet out into life in ever-expanding circles. Your interactions grow richer, opportunities more aligned, and your sense of belonging deepens. You'll realize that the world around you is not a random series of events, but a responsive canvas, painted by the brushstrokes of your own assumed feeling. Keep celebrating each sign as it emerges, for in these moments lies the living testimony of your creative power. Each smile returned, each door opened, each spark of connection is a chapter in the unfolding story of love you are writing with your own heart. And as you continue to watch for and honor these moments, you'll discover that living as if you're already in love is not a distant aspiration, but the ever-unfolding truth of your own experience. As you bring together each strand of this practice, morning rehearsals of fulfilled love, intercepting scarcity with heartfelt affirmations, carrying an invisible cloak of affection through every interaction, revising past hurts with compassion, speaking and listening as though love is already present, refreshing your inner scene in life's small pauses, planting seeds of tenderness at the edge of sleep, and celebrating the subtle ripples that show your inner state blooming in the world. You begin to see that love is not a distant destination, but the very medium through which you move each day. What once felt like longing becomes a living experience. What once felt like waiting becomes a series of creative choices. Every moment offers an invitation to return home to your heart, and the outer world responds by mirroring back the warmth you hold within. In this way, you learn that by choosing to live as if love is already yours, you transform not only your relationships, but the very essence of your own being, proving to yourself again and again that imagination truly is the seedbed of reality,